I'm Hasleen Kaur. I'm a model, actor, and an entrepreneur, and I'm very excited to be here in my college. I passed out from JMC in the year 2009, and I'm quite proud that I've come back here to give my first TED Talk. And I'm excited to share my journey with all of you in whatever little way I can have a small impact on this close group of audience. I'm very excited to be here. When I was 14, I was participating in the annual day of my school, and I was always a front runner of participating in all extracurricular activities along with studies. And during the annual day rehearsals, we were standing at the wings, and one of us, we were discussing. So one of my friends asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a Miss India. And my dreams announcement was met with a few chuckles. We laughed about it, and then we moved on. We went to the stage, we started rehearsing, and that was the end of it. But the mere utterance of constantly saying it again and again for announcing my dreams, that this is what I want to be, this is what I want to become, and this is my dream, probably set things into motion. And it landed me in the Miss India competition one day, and I won. And the rest is history. I always felt that it was, every time I was talking about my dream to anyone, it was met with a certain level of skepticism. Anybody I spoke to. There are some people who, they give you a thumbs up and say, bravo, go ahead and achieve your dream. And there are some people who treat it with skepticism. And that always made me, it propelled me to meet those challenges and to just go further. It just emboldened me a lot more to take on that challenge and to go chase my dreams. I feel like the more non-believers you are, the hard work that you put in later, and you take it on as a challenge, and you're like, no, I will prove myself. And I guess you have to constantly learn to refocus, because when someone is telling us, no, you cannot do this, or this is going to be a very difficult path to go down on. We have certain types of emotions that we feel, right? We feel bad, or we feel like, okay, maybe am I good enough for this or not? And that's normal. It's an emotion that you feel when someone chides you, and it's absolutely okay. You just need to learn to refocus. And I guess my path was met with so much skepticism that I just got faster at refocusing. So every time I would deter, I would refocus again. So I guess practice makes perfect. The more you practice at refocusing, I just kept getting back. So, people were always, either my body wasn't okay, or something was amiss about the way I presented myself, or the grooming was not appropriate to finally participate in a Miss India. But I worked on myself. I felt like, all of this criticism that's coming my way is just good for me. I have to look at my life a little more positively, and I have to keep forging ahead. And if you're lucky, after many years, it's been 15 years since I left this college, and many, many years since I've been out of school. But if you're lucky and you've managed to stay on your dream path, and you come and meet the same people again who were probably non-believers, and you turn them into believers, that's a very good feeling. You know that you've done something right. And if you're lucky enough, you'll come and meet those people in your life. And my next dream, after my first dream was unlocked, was to be an actor. And since I was growing up, I've always played these different roles in school. I've been a classical dancer. I used to be an Odissi dancer. I used to go on Model United Nation conferences. I used to be a debater. I used to go for singing competitions. I was always playing these different roles, constantly shape-shifting along with studies. And I felt that time I didn't know that it was some sort of a method. For all of you who don't know what method acting is, some of you may. Method acting is getting into the mind and body of a character. It takes, some people do it in a few days, some people do it over a few months, over a few years, actors do it to be able to get into the skin of a character. And I don't know, as an Odissi dancer, when I put on the dress and I took on the stance, I became an Odissi dancer. When I had to go for debates, I put on a formal suit, and I had a serious tone of voice, and I became a debater. At that time, I didn't know that it was method that I was doing. I later on, when I went and studied some books, is when I understood, okay, this is how it is done. And because I was doing so many things, I feel like that's helping me be an actor today. I can move from different roles. I can, I think about how I used to do it many years ago. It's not something which is new to me. It used to come quite naturally, and I absolutely enjoy it. And that was my next dream. And again, announcing it to the world each time, because the more you announce it, a lot of people, they try to keep their dreams inside. They have a worry that I don't know what's going to happen. But the more you announce it, you will start a chain reaction and have people around you who will give you a helping hand. They are going to carry you forward. One is your own passion that carries you forward. And the more you announce it, it will be the people who will start taking you ahead. So in my journey, as I wanted to be an actor, I met with agencies in Bombay. I met with different photographers. I met with casting agents. I met with directors. Because every time I would meet, I would say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my next goal. How can I go achieve it? How can somebody help me? And somebody would be like, oh, I know this person. Let me go and introduce you. So I feel like it's very important to constantly keep on talking about it. Irrespective of the non-believers around you, keep on talking about what your dream is. Focus is everything. Don't lose it, and it will lead you right where you wish to be. I recently saw a fantastic film on Netflix by Wes Anderson. He's a fantastic director. His style is something that I adore. The movie was an adaptation of a book by Roald Dahl, and it's called The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. And it follows the path of an Englishman who is smitten by the magical powers of this one saint from India called Imdad Khan. So his original name was Khuda Bakhsh. And he had the power to be able to see through anything. That got him the name the man with X-ray eyes. He could basically see through walls. He could, you put a helmet on his head, on his eyes, you completely blindfold him, and he'll be able to see through anything. And that man, Khuda Bakhsh, he honed his skills over years and years of practice. He had basically met a yogi in India, and who told him that if for years and years, 14 years, 15 years, 20 years, if you practice, you'll be able to do this art of being able to see through anything, or anything that you put your mind to. He wanted to see through anything. So he could, in fact, even scan a person's body and see what's happening inside, if that person has a disease or an ailment. So that's the story of Khuda Bakhsh. But why I'm telling you this story is that it teaches us something. It teaches us that with extreme concentration, your senses are heightened. For many, many years of practice, if you put your mind to something and you completely focus at it, you'll be able to unlock your goals. You just have to sit in one place and think about it and focus and concentrate, and everything else falls in place. For example, it's when we were in school, when we were studying for exams. The more we studied, the longer hours we put into those studies, the higher the concentration, more were the marks, right? So that applies to our daily lives as well. The more hard work you put in. For example, for me as an actor, I've given thousands of auditions. I'm only 6 projects down, acting projects. I've done ad campaigns. I've done, fashion modeling. I've walked on the ramp. But for whatever little work that I've done, I've given thousands of auditions in my life. And that was basically practice to finally get my job. So the more you practice, the better you keep getting at it. Every time you crease out something that was amiss, you look at yourself. I've created multiple YouTube channels which are private, which have my previous auditions all listed. And I go back and look at my auditions and I see, okay, this was not okay. Self-critiquing. Show it to someone who you trust, a friend. Your work. For me, it was my audition tapes. For you all, it could be whatever field that you're in. Show your work to someone who will give you the right critique and tell you, okay, this is a miss. This is what you can work on. You have to keep on learning from that experience. And the fact that I'm talking about focus is because, it's this extreme concentration, something that I believe in. The more, when I'm working on a character for a film or an ad or a web series or anything, I like to sit with myself and I spend a lot of time alone, just constantly trying to get into the brain of that actor. And I read my lines, I learn my lines thoroughly, but I also then sit with myself and I keep on thinking with extreme concentration what this person must have gone through, what is the psyche, where he or she, where she comes from, why she is saying what she is saying, and then I go deliver. So with extreme focus, I think you're able to achieve what you want. And I've read books later on. Now that I'm into acting, everything from school, like an Odissi dancer to debating to singing and all that. I didn't know at that time. It's only later that I read in the books of Stanislavski, Sanford Meisner. I understood what acting is because I wanted to follow my passion. I kept seeking out, what are the tools and techniques that can teach me more? How do I get better at what I do? So I read a lot of books. One of my favorite teacher, Neeraj Kabi, is also an actor. He takes acting workshops and he broke down Natya Shastra for us when we were students. And, he also taught us the art of shopping. So he says, as an actor, you must shop constantly. What that means is that go out on the street, go take a bus, go travel in the local train, just observe life, sit somewhere, sit in a movie theater, sit in a hall, just observe people. And you'll be able to get a sense of what real life is. So you must shop real life. Look at a person, look at his physical structure, look at the way he stands, the way his body language is, the way the expressions are, the way someone's carrying a bag and going to work early in the morning, what the body language is, all of those things, because these tools and techniques, once they are in your mind, they get into your subconscious mind, you can pull that out when you're playing a character. So, this is, I still remember everything that he's taught us, and that's something that takes me through to all my acting assignments. Discipline. In my field, discipline is something that is, in any field, in fact, it's extremely important. I've learned something from my father. He always used to say, "Karm kar, phal ki ichha mat kar," which translates to, do your job correctly, sincerely, to the best of your abilities, and forget about the outcome. Don't think what's going to happen. Forget about the result. And that's something that I follow today. Discipline. My father was always, he was in the Indian Army. He served as an officer. He used to arrive anywhere on time. He was very, very punctual. If he was required to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, he would be there at 7:45, 7:50, or dot at 8. He never made anybody wait. And I think the respect of time that he gave to others, that is something that I've also tried to imbibe. I do the same thing, and I try to do that every day when I'm going to set, or I'm going to work, or I'm going anywhere, even today when I've come here today. Because when you give respect is when you get respect. And my father has always taught us that. And I remember when I was a little girl, I asked my dad, so while he was in the army, he was posted somewhere, and he was addressing another person who was junior to him in rank as Saab. And I was very confused. I asked my dad, Papa, why are you calling him Sahab? And he said, I cannot call him directly by his name because he's put in a lot of years of service, hard work, and experience. And he's senior to me in age also. And that demands that I call him as Saab and not by his name directly. And that taught me something. And that's something which my father and my parents and everyone in the army, in the organization that we come from, we've always learned is that give respect to someone for the hard work and experience that they have. Now, this Saab concept, I'll just take you back. This is basically a British concept. When Britishers were in India and in the British Army, Indians were not allowed to become officers. So they remained as junior commissioned officers. And when they went up in the ranks, not becoming an officer, just a short of that, they were either Naib Subedar, Subedar Major. So the Britishers addressed them as Saab because that was a way of giving respect, that we know that you cannot come up in the ranks and become officers like us, but we value the hard work and the military prowess that you bring every day. And this is why we address you as that. And that is something that exists in the army, and it's in very few organizations. What I've learned is it's there in my industry as well, in the entertainment industry, where respect is accorded for your talent and your skill. It's irrespective, even in the army, in my industry, age, caste, creed, religion, no matter where you come from, it does not matter. You are hardworking, you are talented, you have the skill set, you will do well, and you will get the respect. And that is what I've seen while I was growing up in my family, in my immediate family and my extended family, which was the army. And I feel like that is something that, I try and imbibe on a daily basis. My dad, whether he was in an office or, he was deployed far away with the troops, he was in very difficult conditions, but he was never condescending. He never disrespected anyone. He was always good to people. He still lives by, and a lot of people remember him for the goodwill that he has created over the years. And that is something I try to do in my everyday when I go to work on set, because I give respect. I give respect of time to people. I value them. It doesn't matter who you are, which department you're in. And there's a lot of chaos on a movie set or for a fashion week or an ad set, for example. There's a method to the madness. It's crazy. It's like, there's an art department, there's a production department, there's a direction team, and there are actors, and there is admin staff, and, logistics, and there are hundreds of people trying to put one scene together. And unless and until everyone follows the schedule, everyone is disciplined, everyone is on time, everyone is unbiased, they don't have any biases against each other or gossiping, or there's no time for that. You have to do your job sincerely to the best of your abilities, and that's the only way you have a film on a silver screen, right? We all love going to the theaters, we all enjoy entertainment. So how does that come together? It comes together because everyone is professional. And I try and imbibe that in my journey as well. Consistency. Now, my mother, that's something that I've learned from my mom. She's a strong career woman. She retired as a principal. And she always used to say before an exam, she used to make sure that firstly we are well prepared, my brother and I, and, we've done our homework, we've done everything well prepared. She used to wish us luck. And sometimes, exam result may not be as fruitful. It's not always the best. And, you can either beat yourself down for that little 1 mark. Or my mom used to say, lambi race ka ghoda bano. What that means is that you might have a shaky start. As a horse, you may not get the speed initially that you want. But if you're consistent with your speed and you're running that race, you will eventually win it. You need to be consistent. And that's what has stayed with me all the time, because it's that last lap that matters. You do consistently, and in the end, prove it. You push yourself and you prove it. And that's what my mother always used to say, that lambi race ka ghoda bano. Make sure that you're consistent, and by the end, you push yourself and you will definitely get ahead. Look at the bigger picture. Look at the big win, not the small failures. You've had a shaky start or you've had a few marks less, does not matter. Win at life. Win at something which is much bigger. Stay consistent, stay true to your work, and you will achieve your final goal. Small failures, life is like this. All of us, in our daily routine also, the day may not go as perfect as we want it to be. Today if I want to bag a job, or I want to book a certain assignment, if I'm not getting that, that's not the end of the world. Today it's like that. Tomorrow I'll get something else. And later on, I need to be mindful of the fact that the downtime will come again. How I am behaving in that downtime is what matters. Keep your head down. Make sure that you are constantly working on yourself. Stay consistent. Make sure that when the day comes to prove yourself, you have all the hard work to push you and empower you to go further. And my mom also taught me about spirituality. What she used to say was, I spend a lot of time alone, because when I'm at work, when I'm traveling, I'm alone a lot. And, you tend to, you're away from family. And the only thing that comes to your rescue at that time is if you're a spiritual person. Think of Think of a higher energy, irrespective of any religion. Think of a higher energy. Tap into that higher energy when you're feeling low. I do that. I feel like it guides me. It shows me the way. If I'm confused about something, if I'm not being able to make a decision, everything that my mom has taught me and asked me to be, spiritual, just takes me through. The time when I'm confused, it just passes very easily. It's very smooth ride. And lastly, it's you have to keep learning also. You once you've achieved something, and okay, my goal number 1, Miss India. Goal number 2, to be an actor. Goal number 3, I want to be an entrepreneur and start a company. What is the next goal? You have to keep evolving. The process needs to go on. Satisfaction is failure. Okay, I've achieved this. Okay, now I can sit back and relax. This was my dream. No. Plan your next steps. Plan 10 steps ahead. What is my next goal going to be? How will I start working on it? Pre-plan. Start working on it previously only. Okay, once this is going to happen, because I know it's going to happen, I believe that it's going to happen. And after that, what is my next thing? So evolving is very important. Learning in that process is very, very important. And this is why, I always give credit to my family. I'm quoting my father each time. I'm quoting my mother, my brother. I'm quoting them because they are, therefore I am. Everything that I am today is because of all the things we discuss on a daily basis. There's a lot of communication that happens, a lot of discussion. If something's not working out, they'll always be there to fix or to give a solution. Okay, Hasleen, do it this way. So in my speech, I wanted to incorporate my family because they are the reason why I keep on going ahead and I'm pushing myself. And I'm like, okay, Hasleen, you can do it. And you have a support system to fall back on, and they will always teach you the right thing. And lastly, practice your winning speech every time. When you're on your way to your goal, practice in front of a mirror. I used to do it when I was growing up. Before Miss India also, I used to be holding something in my hand, pretending that it's a mic and giving a speech. Or if I want to win an award, a Filmfare award, I practice it. Who all am I going to thank? I think we all should do it. In our whatever profession that we are in, whatever choice that we have in our life, we want to be a doctor, engineer, whatever we want to be, practice your winning speech for your field of choice. Think of the people that you're going to thank. Maybe you can omit people later. Imagine each and every detail of it when you are giving that speech. Daydream about it. I do it all the time. So from the moment where, sitting in the audience, from the name being called out, to walking up on the stage, to maybe stumbling a little bit here and there, and then going up on the podium and actually delivering the speech. I daydream about it. I think we all need to do that on a daily basis. Think about it and, be with yourself, crease out all the details. Maybe what are you wearing on that day? What is your hair like? What are you going to say? What is the watch that you're wearing? What are the shoes that you're wearing? Crease out all these details because this is the power of manifestation. All the books that are about manifestation, law of attraction, or power of the subconscious mind, they all say the same thing. Think about something that you want so much, focus on it so deeply, crease out all those details, and you will actually see the magic happen. And I think my life is all about that magic. Everything that I have imagined myself to be as I was a little girl, performing on that stage as an Odissi dancer, or debating, or doing singing, going for singing competitions. Back then, I've always imagined, okay, this is what I want to be. We used to watch Miss India competitions sitting at home, on our television screens. And the likes of Gul Panag or Neha Dhupia, Lara Dutta, Sushmita Sen. And I was completely in awe of all these women. And as a child, I always used to be like, this is what I want to achieve. And I would keep saying it again and again and again and again. And it happened. It happened. The magic always happens. There are tools to reach that path, but the magic will happen. And lastly, I'm just going to wrap it all up. I want to refer to a book that I read recently. It's called Autobiography of a Yogi. And that book basically follows the path of a very ordinary man who becomes a saint, and he has a huge following. And how he manages to do that is with years of concentration and extreme hard work and focus. And he meets people along his way who kind of propel him further. And that's what, the energy and the concentration that you put into something is something that we all can do. We all can imbibe that. And he became a yogi. I want to become an actor. Some of us want to become doctor, engineers, teacher, anything. We all can do it. It's a fantastic book. Whenever you get a chance, you must read it. And you need to want what your dream is. You need to want it passionately. And I want to just quote, lastly, I want to quote my favorite actor, Shah Rukh Khan, who very profoundly said in a film, he said that अगर किसी चीज को दिल से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसे तुमसे मिलाने की कोशिश में लग जाती है. The universe comes together and presents you what you want so passionately. So love what you want and go for it, and the universe will work. Thank you so much. Thank you. You've been a wonderful audience.